Hey guys, Karasiv here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the Doubutsu Jyuuken Deluxe Zyuoh Buster from Doubutsu Sentai Zyuohger. This is the main sidearm of the Zyuohgers that can change between two modes. Set includes three things: the main body, the sword cube, and the gun cube. So let's get started. First we'll take a quick look at the main body. This is what contains the electronics, though on its own it's essentially just a trigger. You can see that it's very blocky in design, which is kind of one of the themes of Zyuohger's toy line and one of the general design aesthetics. You can see it's mostly white with a bit of black paint, a bit of silver paint, and then red plastic for this button here, as well as for the trigger. The battery compartment is on the back, takes two AAA batteries. The on and off switch is right here, and the speaker is on the bottom. There's also this part up here, which is in blue plastic, which is the rail section, and this is where all the action comes in. Now for now you can see some switches and some levers, but we'll kind of get into all of that later. Next we have the two cubes. First is the sword cube, which is the main cube for sword mode. You can see that it's a simple cube, but it has a sticker depicting an eagle, shark, and lion. On the back it's a simple cubed pattern. You can see a little part sticking out on the top, which is part of the sword blade. You can also see part of it from the front. You have the gun cube, which has an elephant and a tiger on it. Has the same pattern on the back. And you can see the gun muzzle from the side. Next, let's move on to electronics. So, of course, we have to start by switching on the body. So do that with the on and off switch right here. It'll make a confirmation sound when you do so. Now on its own, pulling the trigger only makes one sound, which is just kind of an error noise, or like pulling kind of like pulling the trigger on an empty gun. So we need to set it up. So we'll start off by making the gun mode. So first you take the gun cube and slide in until it locks into place here. Then take the sword cube, put it on the back, and use it to push forward the gun cube until it locks into place, like so. When you do so, the gun barrel pops out. And so here we have the Zyuoh Buster in gun mode. As you can see, it now has the gun part pushed out, and one more detail is that you now see that the two images connect. As you can see, you have the heads of the tiger and elephant here. Then you can also see that they connect to bodies that are depicted on the back cube. So pulling the trigger will get you a basic shooting sound. And holding the trigger will activate the Zyuoh shoot attack. Pull the trigger again. Next we'll switch it to sword mode. So to do that, first press and hold the red button and pull off the gun cube. And that will activate that standby sound, or standby music. So push in the barrel, place this behind the sword cube, and push it in. It pops out the sword blade, though it doesn't go up all the way, so you have to push it up yourself until it locks into place. And there we have the Zyuoh Buster in sword mode. What you now see has the sword blade extended out at a diagonal angle. And there is some silver paint and a little bit of line details in it. Though one of the unfortunate things is that because it's a flip-out blade, it does suffer from the same problems that all flip-out blades on toy swords have, which is that it can only extend as far as the part that's flipped out, and and usually they're not very long, so as such, this does end up being a bit on the short side. But that is just a product of the design. So, you now see that whereas you had the full bodies of the elephant and tiger in gun mode, now for the sword mode, you see that with the eagle, shark, and tiger here on the front, they connect to bodies depicted on the back right here, which is a very nice way of kind of connecting them. That's a very cool trick. So pulling the trigger, you'll get a sword slashing sound, and holding the trigger will activate the Zyuoh slash attack. Then, pull this off, and pull out the gun cube, and pull the trigger to deactivate it. Now, to show you how this works is actually pretty simple. You can see that there are two locking points here and here. The first one will lock the cube into place right there. The second will lock it into place here. Looking at the bottom, you can see that each one has a tab. Now for the sword cube, it's a little bit back and to the left, whereas for the gun cube, it's a bit forward and more centered. And so, they hit the separate switches. This one being for sword mode, and the other one being for gun mode. And then for activating the cubes themselves, you have this little lever right here, which, when pulled, springs out the part for that cube. And so when they slide into place, they hit this little bump, which will activate the lever. Now what this also means is that you technically don't need both cubes to activate the two modes. Technically, you can have each one just by itself. The other one is just to complete the image. Likewise for gun mode. And in case you're wondering what happens if you press both switches, that actually just goes back to the default error noise. So there aren't any more sounds that can be unlocked in this toy, just what is included via the two cubes. And there we go. So overall, the Zyuoh Buster is good, but not great. I do get what they were going for with the design aesthetic, as they wanted to have each cube do something different. And I will say that I do like the design aesthetic of having the image change completely and still be connected, regardless of which mode it's in. But besides that, it is kind of lacking. Obviously, I'm not going to kind of get down it for its size, as that can't be helped just because of the way it is and the way the parts are constructed. And it's a kid's toy, so of course it's going to be on the small side. What I will say is that I don't think there are quite enough sounds. What you get is essentially the bare minimum. You get a basic default sound, you get one sound for sword mode, one sound for gun mode, then the two different special attacks which each have their own different standby music. But I do wish that there were perhaps some alternating sounds for the two modes, which I think would have helped, and I think that they probably could have done something with maybe adding in more animal noises, as you can hear the cries of the 5 different animals for the 2 special attacks, and I think they could have done something to maybe add in those and just give it some more sounds. As far as the Zyuoh roleplay weapons go, so far there are only 2. This and Zyuoh Eagle's personal weapon, the E-Geyser. And of the 2, if you want to get one of them, I would recommend this one, just because it's overall the better toy, as it has the changing gimmick, and is overall a bit better designed. With the E-Geyser, it's not all too impressive. While it does seem to have more sounds, that being said, it does come at the cost of not really having a gimmick, or at least not a physical one. As in the show, that weapon is supposed to kind of extend out into a chainsword or a whip sword, and that is not present on that toy, so I'm not going to be getting it nor reviewing it. So, if you're going to get a Zyuohger weapon, I would suggest this one, but that being said, if you're not so keen on it, this is something you can pass on. So, next time I will be reviewing the Deluxe Deep Slasher. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And you can check me out on Facebook at facebook.com/krx50. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.